Hello again, this is James Tierney, owner and CEO of Tierney Education. This is another question a student sent to me. And again, instead of sending a text message back, I figured I would answer via a YouTube video, both to help him out, but also then help others who may be having the same issue. Make sure you check out tierneyeducation.com if you want to see all the services that we offer. This is going to be a question about a monopoly. And so the graph to the right depicts the demand for cable subscriptions for a local cable company, along with the average total costs and marginal costs. Suppose the local cable company is a monopoly. So just as a quick review, right, if we're talking about a monopoly, we know that that's going to be one firm. So the firm is facing the entire market demand, which is why we see this downward sloping demand curve here. The first question is asking about the profit maximizing quantity of cable subscriptions. What I tell my students is there is something that is the most important thing you need to know for your introductory microeconomics class for that last third of the class. And that's that the profit maximizing quantity, and almost everyone is going to make this Q star, that's a lowercase Q star, for a firm. And this can be for a monopoly, this can be for perfect competition or anything like that, will be where ... marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Now, I'll make a video that explains why this is the case, but for now, make sure you know that Q star is always going to be at the point where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Now, marginal revenue does not equal marginal cost all the time, right? Look at the graph. Here's marginal cost. Here's marginal revenue. They're completely different things, but there is a single point, right? A single point where they equal, and that is where that Q star is going to be. So if let's take my green marker right here, I find where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Marginal equals marginal cost. And I go down and I find that quantity is going to be 24. So I know for a fact that this answer is going to be 24. What is the profit maximizing quantity? Now, what is the corresponding profit maximizing price? Well, in a monopoly, you get to charge what people are willing to pay. So in a monopoly, right, you are the market. You charge what people are willing to pay. And willingness to pay is represented by the demand curve. So you're going to know that, okay, I know that maximizing my profit is 24. What are people willing to pay at 24? All the way up to the demand curve. So let me go ahead and get a different color here. Let's go with purple. It's going to be this point right here because I know that if I go up from 24 all the way to the demand curve, right here's the demand curve, and I go over, I'm going to see $64 is the price that I can charge. The last part is asking for the company's profits. Now I made a short about this and I'll make sure that I link it here that you know it, but we have profits are equal to total revenue minus total cost, which we can rewrite. Total revenue we know is price times quantity. Total cost is average total cost times quantity. And if I go ahead and factor out a quantity, I know that my profit's going to be price minus average total cost times quantity. Now this should make sense intuitively. If I sell a certain amount, I'm going to make profit. That's the difference between my price and my average total cost. If I charge a high price and my average cost per unit's low, I'm going to make a pretty decent positive profit. Now, if these two were equal, right, if price was equal to average total cost, I'm not making any profit on each quantity, so that's just going to be zero. And you can kind of figure that out just by thinking about this equation. I think it's important to be able to identify this on a graph as well. So let's go with a new color. Let's just go with orange. Okay, so let's go with orange. We're going to look at price minus average total cost times quantity. Well, where is average total cost? Well, at my quantity of 24, so there's my quantity of 24, my average total cost is this point, so it's going to be 58. So what I know is the difference between 64 and 58 is here. My quantity is that horizontal line. So this rectangle is going to be profit. And in fact, on a graph, that's always going to be the case. The profit will always be that rectangle, price minus average total cost times quantity, base times height. So let's just calculate that out. Price minus average total cost, if I have 64 minus 58, that's going to be 6. So I know I'm getting $6 of profit per unit. And there are 24 units. So we put 24 times 6. And that's going to equal 144. So my profit is going to equal 144,000 per month. So there you have it. This is another video where there's a lot of concepts you need to understand. First, the profit maximizing quantity being marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Understanding that that is a single point that represents that Q star. You need to be able to identify that right up here on a graph. You also need to know that we're going to charge up at the demand curve, again, showing it on the graph. And last but not least, you have to know the profit equation. You have to be able to convert this to average total cost, so that way you can do it on the graph, and then calculate that profit as well. So we're at the point in this microeconomics class where there's a lot of things that are coming together. So make sure when you're doing all of these types of questions, you're understanding each step, making yourself some flashcards, doing some retrieval practice, and you'll be all set for the exam. If you have specific questions on any of this, please leave it in the comments, or you can email me, james@tierneyeducation.com. I love to do more videos like this. Thank you all. Make sure you like and subscribe and send this to someone you think is struggling with econ.